APT. We got a red open on APT. This is probably, I don't know, I would say this is probably top of the list. One of them. Got a red open on APT. This is probably, I don't know. Hey guys, I apologize. I forgot to start the YouTubes on that. I've been talking to myself or to the Discord room. I think we got a red open on this one. Like if you're going to trade any of these 30 small caps, and we're really in a no small cap environment, you know, if you're trading shit like Clove or Wishbones and stuff like that, I mean, you're really in for a world of chop, I would say. I wouldn't say world of pain because you can always use, you know, stop losses and stuff like that. But like if you're going to trade a small boy, what you really want to do is kind of think about themes. Market's always about themes, right? So there's themes, there's certain times, certain plays work. So, you know, right, you have your Mimi themes and you have your this themes. Right now, the theme will be the Roni plays. So if you're going to trade anything that's like, you know, of this ilk, you know, you want to have some type of theme at your back so that you got at least a little protection. So I think, you know, the Ronis are going to be the theme, you know, for the next probably week. So like APT is a Buenos, BNTX, you know, this is opening week. This is probably prime time candidate to go red to green, especially if the market starts to get cooked. You know, this one hasn't broken out. So this one, NVAX, I think NVAX just moves a little bit better. Like it's got the spread on it, but it still moves really, really good. The market is just in flux right now. So you want to really think like, okay, what are the themes? What can work in this kind of conditions? You know, we've got already, the market's already fucking rolling over, right? The market's already rolling over. You got a level over here that's probably going to come down into this area. That's where you want to really start to look for the bounce anyways. So, you know, we want to think about these themes. We got APT, potential red to green. We got BNTX. Let's see if this goes red to green. Now, my only worry is this ends up being like a two-tapper, but we got like 15 points before we get there. VXRT is obviously a big gelatinous piece of excrement. You know, these things are just tickers, right? So we can't judge them like people, but you can judge the people that actually enjoy trading this stock. The people that trade this are also scummy, but this stock in general is a big piece of shit. But who knows, right? You know, for a while we can play the bad guy and, you know, we'll dicker and deal in it if we need to. INO is like another one that had a trender. Now this one is actually even a bigger turd than VXRT. These are both, I mean, you know, they're turds. There's no getting around it. You know, maybe we get our hands a little smelly and we come in on these things. Now this Codex is a huge turd. It's the biggest turd out of all of them except INO, but you got a level here. Look at this thing. About 918. I mean, look, this is going to be, you got a spot here. This is a turd, but this is a turd you may be able to get a couple shekels out of. You had 4 million shares in volume, 5 million shares in volume yesterday. If it breaks today, probably you're going to get into the 10 to 20s. Listen, man, there's no world where Jeff Bezos is cooler than Richard Branson. Richard Branson still got amazing hair. Patrick, let's not do blasphemy. 918, set the alert. I don't even know if it's really 918, 925. Set the alert. We're in that zone, right? Like trading is never about trend lines. Like don't get into that kind of mode where it's like trend line, that's what matters. These are all just zones. What happens is like when you get into a zone of resistance where you may get a breakout, then what you want to do is on smaller term time frames, start looking for some type of intraday setup where you can manage your risk. but it also builds explosion. Okay, so as you start to get into those levels, then you start looking at smaller term time frames. You start to see, okay, this thing is ready to cook and book, and then we come in. Then you can come in hot on this thing. You know, I know this space, like it had a huge squeeze yesterday. There's a good shot that this thing just rolls back over today. You know, at once Bezos is done with this flight, they'll probably fade this one too, because I don't think his company has a ticker. So you probably just have to fade space. It's always after these flights are done, like, you know, you got to fade these things. I think I look for like a pop, like a fake red to green on this, and then start to see if you start to roll over, you might be able to get just a little bit of a goose and a gander on it. Now, on the other side of things, let's go back into these Roni plays. So when you think about the Ronas and the Roni plays, it's not just vaccine stocks, right? It's the stocks that will do well via, right, the Ronis coming in hot on people. So like you saw yesterday, Peloton, man, we can't chase a 6% gap up on this thing. You know, it's amazing because they just had put out a PR like 2 weeks ago, expecting slower growth. Look at this. Peloton may see slower engagement growth in post-pandemic era. Oh, by the way, Wedbush is like just a bunch of hacks anyways. But that's a couple days ago. They're thinking like, man, we're not going to get any more juice. And then now the juice is here. You got a level here at 130, 129, 130. There should be a magnet today. And then, you know, if it busts over, then it's game on. Now, you can't chase this thing up 6% at the open, right? We got to let it pull back, and it always does. It'll ORB or pull back. It's not a huge float stock where, you know, like you're not going to get an opportunity. You know, there's some stocks that like you get one shred, and then the shred is the shred. And then you sit there the rest of the day, try to shred it, but you're getting shredded versus getting in the shred because you only get one shred. So there's stocks that shred, and then there's stocks that get shredded. And there's stocks that you shred, but then there's sometimes that you get shredded. And so that's where it's going to be a little bit tricky. So you don't want to be chasing this thing up. It will pull back because this is going to be a little bit of resistance. And it came in so hot yesterday. And obviously, these fucking things are moving. Like there's very little. People are pushing these things into pre now. Like I can't wake up early enough to trade into pre, but you know, you can see like, I mean, you know, it's on like a couple 100,000 shares. Like they turned this thing up. They turned this thing up. You know, what are you going to do, right? Let's see. Let it pull back. Let it congeal a little bit. Then go. Ew, Oscar, don't you have children? Just speak like that. Dirty boy. Okay, I like Peloton. Let's add one more to this. The DocuSign. DocuSign had a beautiful trend on it. Now it trades a little bit choppy. Why? DocuSign's got a big spread on it, and so it gets a little bit weird. But man, when it goes, it just goes. If you look here, its ATR is $9, so it's 10-day average, right? 10-day average of how much it moves per day is $9. That gives you a nice, good range. You really think about like how many of those dollars do you need? 3 or 4, right? To have yourself a nice, happy-go-lucky day. Something to be mindful of. Everybody's asking me about NVIDIA. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see NVIDIA roll over. You know, T-Styles needs to adjust this, but I wouldn't be surprised to see NVIDIA actually do a little bit of a rollover. You know, you had this big downtrend. You had your kind of one-day pop in the resistance. It could bounce too. You know, I'm open, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing roll over. We saw this with like kind of TTD. You know, like you did have this good run in it. So I shouldn't say like there's not a run left in it. TTD did have a good run, and then it just rolled the fuck over, you know, down like 20 points. It's going to have good range. I just don't know which way it's going to go. We're going to have to let the trend set. Gut feeling is, you know, if the market doesn't hold, then it's just going to roll over anyways. Like it's not, if the market rolls, like it's not because NVIDIA had a reverse split, right? That is going to hold up. That is going to have a split, not a reverse split, but a split. Just because they had a split doesn't mean it's going to hold up. Like if it's going to roll over, then it's going to roll over. So like we have to be just kind of a little bit mindful. Man, a little bit mindful of these things as they come in. But, we'll get it right. We will get it right. Yeah, man. This market's in trouble. We really could use that test of the 200 SMA and IWM because we haven't tested it since last year. So this doesn't look like much. But you're talking about the last test of the 200 SMA was September of last year. And we're at the fucking end of July, right? So it's been almost a year, 10 months, 11 months. Man, it's time. Like it's time to show. It's time for the market to pull back a little bit. And frankly, like everybody likes, like a hot market. It's good for the market to pull back, like it's good to have corrections. Like, do you really want to be trading all these stocks up so high? If the market pulls back for a nice month, you get a lot hotter opportunities. And in the meantime, you can make money shorting. It's not like, there's just as much money in a, shitty market as a hot market. I mean, there's really no change in that. So be mindful. I noticed that, it's very easy with the volatility. I was just talking to Marcos about this, to oversize, like when the market gets volatile, and then that can cause you initial losses at the open because you're like getting really excited. And then you end up missing the plays, the rest of the day. I'd be really mindful of that and just kind of take your plays. Take your plays. You don't need to oversize. And then look at this. Some of the healthcare companies stuff are really cooking. This one had earnings out actually today. Even this INMN is okay. My preference is to stick with these Roni plays. I think it's just going to give us a little bit better focus. When we can narrow it down. When we can narrow it down into the most buenos of setups. So you got BNTX. We got APT. I'm just making our 6-window layout here. This is nice too. Like you can add this. See this towel? Like you can't trust this thing. And this thing gaps up all the time. I think the Roni plays. This is going to be our thing. Like, yeah, if you need some small caps, this SGOC is okay. But I don't think it's a good market for those kind of plays. Frankly, like you're seeing most of them get dusted off on strength. SGOC is really the only one that held up. Junk. Man, earnings season's been pretty much a dud for the most part. And RXBs. That was the one that we were looking at yesterday, right? NRBs. Natural gas is flying, by the way. If you want to do a little swing trade and some natty futures, I got a little bit, in this consolidation, but this has probably got a chance. Spaceballs. Yeah. Okay. So fades for today, right? We want to go index. We got BNTX for the red to green. We got the APT for the red to green. We need Peloton on pullbacks only. We got the DocuSign lifestyle. DocuSign's a nice lifestyle. Nothing like having a company that just does some e-signatures with a $50 billion market cap. And look, in the end, like if we need some shredders, we can come in, like if the indexes are moving around the most, we can come in hot on these indexes and just trade them too, right? Like you don't have to just be like so focused on individual stocks and shit like that. Like we can get a little bit we can get a little juice. Yeah, look at this index already cooking. We got a lot of plays today. Let's go have some fun. Let's go do what we do. Yeah, mRNA, I think probably be a short, but I won't be waiting for one more big pop on it. You don't want to come in hot. Like it's got the S&P inclusion tomorrow. probably better to wait it out.